One of the most difficult aspects of selling on Amazon is the fact that you have to compete with Amazon itself. Amazon's an international giant and can source stock at extremely low prices and huge quantities. And this makes Amazon a formidable competitor for a small business owner just getting started selling on the Amazon marketplace. Many third-party sellers will avoid selling products which Amazon stock for this very reason. But in many cases, there is still money to be made. Because Amazon can expand its stock at any time, and you may find Amazon joining your listings at any time, it's unlikely you will be able to avoid competing entirely. So it's important that you know the best way to go about this, whatever your stance on the issue. Winning the buy box. Some estimates suggest as many as 90% of sales are made through the buy box. This means you really want to be winning it as often as possible. Nobody, apart from Amazon, can say for definite how the buy box winner is decided. But we wrote a handy guide which may help you decipher their logic. We do know that sales history, customer service, and price all play a part, which obviously puts Amazon in an advantageous position. While Amazon is certainly the toughest competitor for the buy box, it is possible to win it from them. Now, in many cases, if you price your offer at the same price as Amazon or just below where possible, Amazon will share the buy box with you. It's well known that the buy box will rotate where there are a number of sellers with similar pricing and similar performance. This is true even when Amazon is one of those sellers. Amazon may hold the buy box for longer periods than other sellers, but if you're selling through FBA and have great customer metrics and a high amount of positive feedback, there is every chance that you will win the buy box from time to time and will win some sales. If you choose to drastically undercut Amazon, it's likely your price will be quickly matched or even undercut. Now, this is a risky game and more often than not will cause a race to the bottom. It's likely that Amazon will be able to offer the product at a much lower price than you and get by on much smaller individual profit margins. Ideally, you want to keep prices high on the listing to maintain those profit margins to avoid starting a price war where possible. Although winning the buy box is very important, it's not necessarily the be-all and end-all. If you can't win the buy box on a product, that doesn't mean that you will never make any sales. Say a product sells 100 times a day. If we assume that 90% of the sales go through the buy box, then that's still 10 sales a day up for grabs. Obviously, this is only useful for very fast-selling products. If you can be the best offering for these sorts of products outside of the buy box, then you should still see a moderate number of sales. Fill in the gaps. For some products, Amazon seems to have an endless supply of some products, but for others it seems to find itself out of stock frequently. You can find out what Amazon's supply of a product is like using a number of reporting tools, including SourceMogul, which will allow you to see the historical price of the product over time. The key is to look for items that show some out of stock history and then be prepared to fill in those gaps. If you find a product where Amazon has been frequently out of stock in the past, then you can generally feel safe assuming that this trend will continue. If you are unable to beat Amazon to the buy box while stock is available, then you need to make sure that you are in a position to win the buy box as soon as Amazon becomes out of stock. For a fast-selling product, you can make a good number of sales in these periods, and if there is not much competition for the buy box, you can control the price. Check stock levels. If you've found a product and Amazon seems to have had inconsistently in the past, but has in stock now, there is one final check you can do to find out how many they have currently. Add the product to your basket. Click the gray Edit Your Basket button. Click on the 1 under Quantity, and from the drop-down, click on 10 plus. You'll now be able to input any quantity. Change that quantity to 999 and press Update. You'll now see a message telling you how many Amazon has in stock. It is that simple. You can use this to gauge how long it will be until they are out of stock again. Competing against Amazon can seem like an impossible task, but in reality, there are always ways for you to make sales. As long as you do your research and have reasonable expectations about the number of sales that you will be able to make competing against Amazon, it doesn't need to be quite so intimidating. Every product SourceMogul sources is displayed alongside all the data you need to make informed buying decisions, including competition information. Researching all the information that you need to decide whether a product is right for you can be a tedious task, but SourceMogul makes it easier by putting all the data into one place.